Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, actually, I think I was having a conversation with you about Surah chapter 7, 157. Yeah,
Okay.
about the description of the prophet in the Torah and the Injil. And then you said you referred me to John chapter 16.
Yeah.
Was it John chapter 14? Yeah, John 14 or John 16.
John chapter 16. John chapter 16.
Okay. Yeah. You went to John chapter 16 to look for the description of the prophet. I don't understand if the book of John, the Bible is not the Torah. So how can you go to that same chapter and then pick the description of a prophet from there?
Okay. Thank you very much.
That's kind of confusing.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So before I proceed, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Thank you. So that's good. So when we talk about Torah and the Injil, you need to understand the premises for our argument. And that is hinged on the way the Quran put it. The Quran says Injil was revealed to Moses. And Torah was revealed to Moses. Injil was revealed to Jesus. I.e., these were something they heard from God and they communicated to man. Now, we know that sometimes there are certain things that happened that warranted this revelation. Whatever happened that warranted the revelation was not part of revelation. Revelation only means what God revealed, what they had. Now, when you go to the book of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you will agree with me, but if not, let me know. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are, for example, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are biography of the life of Jesus. It's telling us the biography, what happened to Jesus, how he was born, how he lived his life, how he preached the gospel. That is the message he had from God, what happened to him, etc., etc. So this is what Injil actually means. Now, what we are saying is this. Right now, if you ask a Christian, tell us the Injil, give us a quotation from what Jesus preached, they are going to go to the biography because it is in the biography that preserve the preachings, that is the revelation that Jesus received from God. Meaning that in the book of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, it preserves the revelation that Jesus received. However, we don't say Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is the Injil itself. The reason being that it contains more than the Injil. It contains incidences, it contains narration, it contains opinion, it contains understanding of those people that are writing the biography. So when I now quoted John, I went to John to look at, what are those things that Jesus said? And I was able to see, definitely, if Quran is saying that you are going to find a description of Jesus in the Torah and the Injil, let me go to his biography. And I saw that, actually in the biography, it was recorded that he was communicating some message to his disciples about somebody who will come after him. So it is very, very easy for me to say, definitely this must be the Injil. I hope you understand the premises for my argument.
Yes, but there's this aspect, because I understand what you said, I understand clearly, but there is this problem. It's about the identity of the man. For example, John himself, right? John wrote that Jesus Christ said this thing, and then you believe that it's the Injil. Now let's look at the personality of John. Do you believe that John actually wrote what Jesus Christ said?
Okay. I want you to hold on because I want to really understand what exactly is our argument. Is the argument that we are trying to identify whether it was actually Muhammad that was being described, or we are trying to validate that Bible is not the Injil or Torah as in item 5? Or you are trying to say, okay, since you have been able to quote from the biography written by John, that you are able to bring out from it some things that you consider to be Injil. Are you saying that you are giving John or even the book of John 100% that everything is accurate? Please let me know which one exactly you are grounding your argument on, so that I will be able to know how to flow with you.
Yeah, the problem is this. Now,
please let us power tap. Please let us power tap. Okay.
I personally believe in what John wrote to be true. I don't have a problem with it. All right. And what I'm saying is this is because if I bring a plate of rice and add little poison to it, you won't eat it. So it's also important for us to understand the personality of the man who wrote what Jesus Christ said to be true. Because if the man himself is false, we cannot consider whatever Jesus Christ said that the man wrote to be true. Completely everything becomes false. We can't accept it because we are not there. It's the account of the man who wrote what Jesus Christ said that we are all holding on to be the Injil. Now, if you can accept that what John wrote is true, then I think we are on the same page. Then we can move further from there. I personally, I don't have a problem with what John wrote. Personally, I don't have. But I'm saying, do you have a problem? Do you think that what John actually wrote about Jesus Christ, that Jesus Christ actually said this thing, is it true? Then we can proceed from there, and then we can now look at if Jesus Christ actually said that a prophet like this is coming.
Okay, thank you. So say when we are applying historical critical method on a narration, we don't go like that. You don't say because, oh, this book contains the truth, then it must be true. Let me even put it this way. As a Muslim, wallahi, the information I have in the Quran is enough for me. As a Muslim, the information I have in the Quran is enough for me. You as a Christian, you don't believe in the Quran. However, because you believe that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you believe in it 100%, which I don't. But because you believe, I have every right to use what you believe to prove my point. And I have every right to reject whatever I don't believe in it. Whatever I am able to point out from what you believe, you do not have right to reject because you believe it. That is, I want you to note that. Now, let me give you something. In Islam, we also have people who wrote about the biography of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them. They wrote so many things that are correct. We quote from them and everything. But the question is this: do we believe 100% in what they wrote? The answer is no. Why is it no? Because we also need to scrutinize it, because these are human beings who are writing from their own perception. And when you are writing from your perception, there's every possibility that error will creep in. You may even write something, you may see somebody doing something, and you will translate it or interpret it in another way that person did not mean. So this is what we are saying. We identify Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John as a religious text for the Christians. We agree that it is the biography of Jesus. We agree that since they are writing from the biography of Jesus, the sayings of Jesus, the revelation that Jesus received from God, will be captured in it. So when we are quoting it, we understand. Now, lastly, so that I will allow you to talk. If you're asking me, how then do you know what Jesus preached or what he did not preach? We will measure that standard, number one, against what all other previous prophets have been preaching. That's number one. Number two, it has to also fulfill the core mission of that person. It has to fulfill the core mission of that person. I will give you an example. This is a beautiful example. One of the things that we reject in the book of John is the book of John chapter 1, verse 1 and 2 is said, where John says, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Number one, this is not the sayings of Jesus. This is a prologue that John wrote to start his biography. The reason why we rejected it is that all the prophets, not only all the prophets, there's nobody in the entire Bible, even Matthew, Mark, and Luke, even Paul, if anybody that ever believed that word of God was personified. If all of them never believed all the word of God was personified, and that doctrine is not consistent with the way word of God are being used by previous prophets and other people, then we are in no way to accept it as true. This is what we are saying. You understand? We are in no way. But if that thing align with other people, even Matthew, Mark, or whatever, or other, the way it has been used before, whatever, then we can say that definitely it stands its point. So these are the ways. So what I'm telling you, in essence, to summarize, is that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they are biography that capture the revelation that Jesus received. We are not bound to believe in the entire biography. We can criticize and we can reject. But even if we are doing that, as somebody who is sincere, we must have evidence. You cannot just say, oh, I agree, I don't agree. It has to be with evidence. And if you want to tell us why we must believe it, you also need to provide us with equal evidence. This is how we engage in a meaningful discussion.